Hi, my name is Garet Christopher, and this is my YouTube channel, Garet's Movie Take. So today I'm going to go into my library. I'm going to pull out a movie Mr. Kevin Costner starred in. And actually, as I'm putting things together here, my little mini set, Miss Kelly Preston, who passed away, I guess, about a year or so ago, I got a little sad. Not that I know all the movies that Kelly Preston did, a gorgeous woman, John Travolta's wife, yeah, I got a little, not teary-eyed, but yeah, I got a little sad. The fact that this young lady is no longer with us. And any case, yeah, so but I'm going to talk about this movie, and Miss Kelly Preston was in it and did a heck of a job in this film. By the way, if you get a chance, do not visit my website because I put a hold on it, so you won't find anything under GaretChristopher.com. You'll find a blank page more than likely. But you can go to Amazon.com or BN.com, Barnes & Noble, BN.com, and you'll find my 5 novels there. So please check those out. You can get overviews and that kind of a thing from them. Plus, I do a weekly podcast where I'm currently presenting the third of my audiobooks and the last of my novels, The Takeover, part 1 of a sci-fi series. So you can get a snippet on the audiobooks. I do them myself, so all the voices are me, and I have a lot of fun doing that. You can also get those at Amazon as well as Audible. And yeah, what else we got? And of course, this YouTube channel. I'm going to do some sports ones here in just a minute. But I want to talk about this movie only because it was time for me to do something from my library. By the way, I did The Batman just recently, so please check that out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a very good film. And I think you really enjoy it. A lot of action. It's long, 3 hours long, but a lot of good stuff in that film. By the way, I was told by one of my viewers that I need to kind of put, even on new movies, put out some content. I don't want to do that because I know for me, I don't want to know anything about the film. Now in The Batman, you know the basics. It's not too many surprises, but I don't like talking about it. Now in a movie like this, that has been out for, heck, 30 some odd years, I have no problem talking about this one, right? Now I still want you to get the full kind of sense of the love story as you check it out. But yeah, I'll talk about a few things in this one. But newer movies, yeah, I don't want to put any spoilers out there, not really. So Rich, sorry, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So let's talk about, at one point I will talk about Kevin Costner, but let's just talk about the movie For Love of the Game. And by the way, John C. Reilly is also in this movie. Now he and Kevin starred in another baseball movie called Bull Durham way back in the day. As well as Kevin did another baseball movie, and that was, what was that one? I can't remember now, because this is my third take on this one. I keep having these brain freezes. Okay, why do I like and actually love For Love of the Game? By the way, I always thought it should have been For the Love of the Game, For the Love of the Game, but it just said For Love of the Game. And why is it in this right here, not here, but here, this is like my top movies, right? The ones, if I were on a desert island, what would I want with me? This movie is there. By the way, in reference to Miss Kelly Preston and Kevin Costner, in this film, every time they're together, and whether it be a high in their relationship or a low in their relationship, they just did a heck of a job together. A heck of a job together. And I was in an acting class at one point, and like I needed any help acting. But anyway, and I was asked to kind of present a scene from a movie where you could just turn the sound off and just watch the expressions on the actors or actresses and still get a feel for what's going on there. How did that come across? So I chose 2 films. And one film, which I thought I would also get a very, very meaningful and heartfelt film, I thought I would get the same effect from both of them. But when there's a scene where Kevin Costner and Kelly Preston are together, it's a low point in their relationship. And as I'm watching this thing, man, it was just night and day. And the other movie I like a lot too, I won't mention what it is or who the actors were or actors are, but it was night and day. What Kevin and Kelly Preston presented on the screen there in this particular scene was just like 10 times better. And I like the other actors also a lot, and I like that film a lot too, but it was just like there was no comparison. So it made me understand and kind of realize how great Kevin Costner is. Right now he's got I think it's 4 seasons of Yellowstone. I've not seen one episode of Yellowstone. I hear how great it is. I don't have Paramount, so I don't get that one. But everything I've seen him in, for the most part, really, really good. And yeah, just a great actor. So I think my high point of this film is when they're together. And again, whether it's in a positive or a negative time in their relationship, just the camaraderie, and as far as how they're feeding off one another, and it's real. So here's the gist of the film. So Billy Chappell is the main character, and that's Mr. Kevin Costner, and he's a Detroit Tiger. I don't have a Detroit Tiger garb, so I just wear a Dodger shirt as a baseball fan. And what's happening is that this is his last season. He's going to retire, and more than likely, and it's the last game of the season. Now the Tigers aren't in the playoff hunt, so this is it. This is done deal. No playoffs and like that. By the way, Vin Scully, again, God rest his soul. If you're an LA native or a Dodger fan at all, you know, or a baseball fan really, you know who Vin Scully is. And if you don't know who Vin Scully is, if you've ever seen the 1988 version of Kirk Gibson's home run, it was Vin Scully who narrated and who kind of put that scene together when Kirk hit the home run to win Game 1 in the bottom of the ninth at Dodger Stadium. A great moment. I can tell you exactly where I was, what I was doing at that time. It's just a great moment as a Dodger fan, but as a baseball fan. Anyway, Vin Scully is narrating the film, because the film takes you from inning 1 through inning 9 and then inserts scenes and things that happen, because what's happening is Billy Chappell, the pitcher who's on the mound for the Detroit Tigers, he's thinking about his life, and he's thinking about this young lady. Her name is Jane, and that's Kelly Preston's character, and how they met. So it takes you through the whole thing. So kind of original how that all comes together. And here he is, this big-time athlete, big-time pitcher, rich and all this kind of thing. And, he's got women here, women there. And he meets Kelly Preston, and they get together. And Kelly does something she usually doesn't do. She sleeps with him, and now she understands the fact he's this big-time star, big-time athlete. So she's not the only one, right? And yet, he pulls on her, she pulls on him, and they get to where they want to become exclusive. He makes a couple of mistakes, and so that kind of messes it up. And he gets to know her family, though. She has a daughter, who's going to go to college. She's in high school at the time. And just the whole way it's kind of put together. So you've got him on the mound, and Vin Scully in the background narrating. Just as a Dodger fan, it's just like euphoria, just incredible for me, right, to hear all of this. And he's just recollecting, what's going on. And one of the cool things in the film, too, is that him as a pitcher, as a pro athlete, this thing is called Clear the Mechanism. So here he is. He's got 50,000 fans. They're in Yankee Stadium. They're playing the Yankees. They're in Yankee Stadium. 50,000 fans. And he says, clear the mechanism. And all of a sudden, everything blurs out. And you can't hear a thing. All he sees is his catcher and the signs. And boom, he's going to just throw the next pitch type of thing, right? Which, I remember Kobe Bryant would talk a lot about when Phil Jackson teaching him through Zen and through meditation, just to be in the moment. Just to be in that moment. I'm truthfully trying to do that myself. Just to be in the moment. About things and stop worrying about the future will come, right? You can't help it. It's going to come at you regardless. Just be in the moment. But yeah, so in this movie, you've got scenes of that going on. I'm a baseball fan too, so that's a lot of fun. But even if you don't like baseball, and truthfully, even if you don't like Kevin Costner or Kelly Preston, this film, it's got some comedy stuff in there. Nothing like, hilarious type of thing, but enough to keep it going. I like that. Even in a serious drama, throw some humor at me. Throw some things in there to make it a little more interesting and intriguing, and to kind of keep, it's one thing to have your heart just pounding the whole time, but hey, throw something in there to kind of lighten it up a little bit and to kind of move it forward, and it does that. Again, my favorite part of this film, and there's a lot of favorite parts of this film. I'll watch it anytime, but just is them together, Kelly and Kevin, just together talking about stuff, and it's always positive. He breaks her heart, she breaks his heart. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. Kind of a surprise ending type of thing to a degree. But it's just, man, they played it. I felt they played it to the hilt. Whoever directed it, I can't even tell you who it is, did a heck of a job with it. So yeah, so it's this 9-inning baseball game, and it is Billy Chappell, this star pitcher, just thinking about his life, really from the moment, not from childhood. Some of that stuff too, as far as his dad and how he came about and that kind of thing, but really from the time that Kelly Preston came into his life and their whole time together over several years. He had a big injury also at the time that he knew her, where he was out of the game for a little bit, and that created a big problem with them, because he just kind of felt like, all he ever needed was baseball. Right? That was his statement. All I ever needed was baseball. All you're doing is just messing things up. You make me feel weak, is what he tells her. Oh my goodness, it just breaks her heart. And that's what started the whole downfall. And then, it's, a year goes by before they communicate again and this kind of stuff. And even if you're not a mushy kind of guy, and I am, I get a little mushy, but even if you're not, or gal, watch this film. Do me a favor. I know I always ask this of you, to kind of turn everything else off, put your phone aside, spend a couple hours there watching it. Trust me. Watch the film. If you got a loved one, sit down with them and watch the film. Kids, for the most part, they got to be, you know, probably late high school, early college to really kind of get what's going on here. A young person's not going to really enjoy it. My kids didn't really like it until later on, like I said, you know, later high school years and that kind of a thing. But as an adult, trust me, put the film in. If you've not seen it before, put it in and watch it. Not a baseball fan? Doesn't matter. Really not a Kevin Costner fan? Doesn't matter, because this role that he puts forth is so real, you know. And I think that's one strength of Kevin Costner. He's just kind of real, you know. No Way Out, he was had to like process and be this particular person, but I think in a lot of films, he's just Dancing with Wolves. He was just himself, right? Just kind of being his own self, and to me, that's a big strength of his. I've not seen Yellowstone, so I have no idea how that comes across, but this one is probably my favorite of all his films. And I remember Dances with Wolves, I watched in the theater in LA, and I was just enthralled entirely with that movie. And I watched it again about a year or so ago, and I was like, okay, it's pretty good. But at the time, and I will cry, and you know, if you've watched any of these YouTube channels, you know I will cry on movies right now. And I'll tell you right now, on Dances with Wolves, toward the end, you know, hopefully you've seen it, but toward the end, when he's going one way and he's trying to draw, you know, the settlers away from the Indians, and he's separating them from one Indian who was really a nemesis early on, and now they love each other. And man, I started to tear up right now just thinking about it. I will cry in that part right now, just like E.T. Ouch, ouch! I'll cry right now with that scene too. Anyway, all right. Is that enough content for you? I'm not gonna tell you everything that happens. Just know Vince Scully narrating, Kevin Costner on the mound, Kelly Preston, and just beautiful love story, kind of just woven in together in this 9-inning, 2-hour long movie. It's really, really good. Check it out. Trust me, you really enjoy it. Thanks for